We all start out with some idea of where we're going, with a plan, a job, a title that's supposed to mean we made it. But somewhere along the way, quietly and sometimes painfully, we realize we've drifted. The pace picks up, pressure builds, and without even noticing, we lose sight of who we are underneath it all. The Path is a podcast about what happens when we finally stop long enough to ask the harder questions. How am I showing up? For myself? For the people who matter most? And am I even on my path anymore? I'm Chris, and I've been in that space where everything looked fine on the outside, but inside, I knew something was off. Out of alignment, if you will. Disconnected with what really mattered. What I've learned is real transformation doesn't happen in the rush. It happens when we finally slow down, when we get honest, when we do the deep work that most of us avoid. So we can uncover what's truly here for us. This show is about that journey, and I'm not walking it alone. Each week I'm joined by Stuart, a good friend and CEO who found meaning in building high-performing teams and deeper purpose and helping others grow, and Toby, our old and veteran executive coach who spent decades helping people return to themselves in the midst of it all. Together, we're exploring what it really takes to lead with alignment, live with intention, and build lives that feel as good on the inside as they look on paper. This is The Path. Well, welcome, guys.
What's
good
up?
To see you again. How we doing today? Stu, how you doing?
I'm feeling good. Summer is here. We're in full-fledged. Kids are home. I think on the last podcast, we talked about my daughter graduating. So we've gone from the excitement of the graduation to re-entry back into the house. So that's been filled with lots of adventures and new ways to communicate and how to deal with a 20-plus-year-old moving back in. It's been awesome having her home, but summer's here. Everyone's running to the beach back and forth, and I love it. I love this time of year. So I'm living this is my ideal life. This summer life is a good life. So I'm excited to be here.
Man. You know, on my end of the world, like, you know, a lot of my friends are becoming empty nesters, right? And you're always like, you're going to be an empty nester. How's that feel? And you don't ever talk about the re-entry because it's like, yeah, you're empty nesting for a little bit, but then there's this re-entry point.
Oh, they definitely come back.
Yeah.
And you know what? They don't come back as your kid. That's what you realize. They come back as a version of an adult, and you still have your rules. And plus, they left and you were still in parental kind of mindset. And then they leave and you get into party time mindset with your spouse with the empty nest life. And then they come back and you want to revert back to parenting the way it used to be. And they're not up for that. So it's almost just like business. Like you almost have to have like a business meeting to set some ground rules on how things are going to operate. But she's been, all jokes aside, it's just nice to have noise back in the house. For those that are empty nesters, it gets eerily quiet. But it's nice at 5:30 in the morning hearing her bang around as she gets ready for work to head out the door. So it's been nice. It's been nice having her home.
Good for you, man. Good for you.
Yeah, I love the check-in with you East Coasters. This is the thing I love the most, or one of the things I love the most about our team is that I'm the West Coast and you guys are the East Coast. So when you say summer is here, where I am, it's literally like hibernation season. So the PG version of the dad joke is it's like two cats in a wool sock rolling around. It is smoking hot out here, and everybody's hibernating. Everyone's wanting to kind of go to places where you guys live or shoot up north, obviously, in the up in the Flagstaff area and whatnot out in Arizona. So it's funny when you guys say that because it's literally running from one air conditioned unit to another right now. And as you both kind of roll your eyes, and Stu, you know better because you've lived out here.
Oh, yeah.
I will send you text messages and phone calls in January, February, but the ones I love the most are the March ones I'm going to send you when your winter never ends. And I'm over here in full golf swing. But yeah, all in all, we're good. We're just, we're literally doing what I just said there. It's just crazy hot right now. So we're just, we're having fun though. I mean, the kids are loud and in the house still. So it's one of those right now.
Hey, Toby, just to clarify, the reason why, the West Coast branch is to balance out that March weather out east. I thought you were hosting our next big
100%.
global summit out there in March.
Exactly. Hey, what's this all for if we can't enjoy it? You know what I mean? So,
hey, man, we chose
brother.
strategically. We got Pittsburgh on the docket. I mean, we were really strategic about the locations here.
Exactly.
Why you always got to make fun of Pittsburgh?
Hey, man, it's got the world's best football team in America, so it's no making fun of it. It's just it's just a unique city with a phenomenal football team.
All right.
See that helmet? See that helmet right there?
We'll
I got you.
My Lions do this year. Chris, love to check in with you though before I do like more of a formal check in, because that's kind of what we're doing today. And Stu walked us in and how he was doing and a check in on one of our previous podcasts. And so today I'm going to lean in as well as go there on my check in as well. But before I do, I'd love to know just how you're doing, feeling.
Yeah, doing great. Again, with just like Stu said, next week I got a little 4th of July. We're recording this week of 4th of July, so we got the 4th of July kind of break. And I actually haven't been up to the lake in quite a while, so except to do chores and stuff. So next week or this week, I get to go up there and put up the hammock. And we have a rule. I think I might have told this one before. I sat next to a woman that I first bought our lake house, and she said she'd been up there for 30 plus years. And she goes, son, I have one piece of it. She knew I just moved up there. She goes, I have one piece of advice for you. Lake life starts at noon. So do whatever you have to do beforehand. Do all your chores because there's always something to do. But at noon, you stop and you start enjoying the lake. And you get out there and you grab your beer. She was telling me about her beers that she drinks at noon and all the other stuff. So she goes, lake life starts at noon no matter what. And I've just kind of made that a rule. So I'm excited to do some chores in the beginning, get the house ready and all that fun stuff because there's always something to do, like she said. But then I'm excited to really just relax. So life is good, man. The boys are going up with me. Aiden's down in DC. He's doing, he's got an internship at the Department of Homeland Security, which is just so cool to me because it's just so out of my realm of understanding and all that stuff. And the stuff that he gets to do, he's just so excited living his life down there by himself. Like you said, Stu, like a grown up. Like he's doing it, right? Like he's doing it all on his own, which is really cool. And then, Park's getting ready for school. He's going to Penn State in the fall here, which I'm super excited about as well. I got my season tickets and I'm ready to go there. So, but there's that whole just weird kind of gap, right? Where they're kind of getting ready to go and they're a little nervous and we're a little nervous. And it's just, you kind of want to just hold on to them and cherish that time you have, so there's a little bit of that going on in my house. There's a lot of identity crises going on in my house, which is again, Joy raised these boys and and to only have to make one lunch now in the morning and not 3. That's a real thing. And thank goodness I'm at a space to like understand that. Before, I think if this was 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and I'm working on I just don't know if I ever really took enough time and like reflected on that and the impact that has and what she's going through with her changes in life and the boys moving out. I know what I'm going through. But we're at such a good space, her and I, that we're able to have that conversation and really share those moments with one another and kind of help each other work through it. So we're working through that. And then, we asked Tan the other day, like, hey, what's it going to be like being home with just us? And he's like, it's going to be awesome. Like, I don't need those two guys. Like, I can't wait to be the only child. So I'm actually excited to re-engage with him as the only child too. Like, he's just an awesome kid. So it's, in the third, it's kind of like, you kind of been there, done that with the friends and the kids. So it'll be nice to just start to understand his friend group a little bit more and maybe build some relationships with that generation versus, being that we already had enough with the other two generations. So it's just, changing seasons for all of us, man. And we're loving every minute of it. So life is good, my friend. Life is good.
Well, that's good. And what a good, it really kind of bodes well with the check-in that I was going to have. So I love the fact that we're all on the same page. You didn't know it already, but around change, you guys both know, but we're in a new space. We moved homes. Everyone and their neighbors, giving us free advice of why would you do this with these interest rates where they are. So I love the free feedback that everyone seems willing to give. But all kidding aside, it's like, everyone's got an opinion, and some of them though are happy about it, just from a point of view of just like, hey, you're getting into a new space. And but we've definitely gone through, and you two guys know, so just to check in for me is just gone through a little bit of emotional roller coaster with our kids on that front, which I don't know. And you would think I should know this. And again, I've been reminded that I should have known this, but just the emotional component and piece to this of, our journey with our kids being homeschooled for as many years as they have. I mean, that's literally been their world at the house, and to uproot them, albeit we do believe we gave them a decision in this process, but doesn't sound like they felt that they were an equal partner in this decision, but more of maybe just gonna let you know on the way out the door type of thing. But so, my check-in's a lot about change. And I know we work with leaders when we're coaching them, as well as their teams and companies for that matter, around change. And, I found myself sitting around. You guys, it's so funny because you two know more about what's happening than most people do. But like, the unboxing of boxes, which goes along with that. But the things I've found, the things I've realized first about myself, that I'm a hoarder like my father. And I know some people that listen to our podcast know my dad, so they're probably laughing out loud right now. But and I used to roll my eyes about my dad, but why are you keeping this and why you have that? And what you haven't used it in forever. And I sounded a lot like my mom in that space, but I used to have that thought. And now I'm watching it go full circle where Kath's like, I can't believe you still have this. I
That's
mean,
you.
I've got like high school like pictures of the Washington D.C. trip, and it's like in 8th grade. I'm like, why would you keep that? And I've just got things in there, but some of the, and you guys know this because you guys have moved like I moved with the company and all of that. But some of those boxes, man, they were treasure chests. I mean, I
Oh,
opened
yeah.
up a few of those, the Father's Day cards from these, little scribbled writings of our 3 boys, to my wife's words of encouragement through the, when I was making that big decision to leave corporate America and kind of move into this kind of coaching centric world. She had a card in there, and it was amazing. So, just one of those things where it's like, you pull those box of memories out and you're looking at those things, and then it takes you right back. And it's the beauty again of, not to make it more or less our work, but like it's the beauty of our work to be able to really pause for a minute and check in with people on how they're feeling, and also what they remember about their journeys and their paths, and how they felt when, as well as how they feel in reflection about those moments. And it's
Totally.
I've had many a walk down the hallway now, and just to thank them again. And my kids are looking at me like, why are you thanking me, Dad? Like, what are you talking about? I'm like, well, you gave me a card when you were 8 years old. And, they're doing the whole, Dad, for crying out loud. And I'm like, just hear me out. And I just need you to know. And I, just make sure that I cross those T's and dotted those I's. But, those things are just rushing back to you. And it really is the beauty of the difficulty of this whole change thing, this new environment, new place. We got to figure out all this new stuff. But I was taken with that, and I would love to get your guys' thoughts on that. But just because I know, Stu, I think you've moved 500 times, and then Weissy, you've moved a lot less than that, but you still have moved. But I'm just curious about kind of like what you guys think with regards to those. I'm calling them memory boxes right now, but just those kind of
Yeah.
time loops that I took in this unpacking over the last weekend.
Yeah, Chris loves to add like 400 more moves to my move list because he doesn't believe that I did move that many times, but I did. You can ask my wife. My marriage scars are definitely documented. Yeah, man, that's happened with this move. I saved a lot of stuff from my career over the years, that I meant something to me, awards, letters, different kind of moments. And I remember opening up those boxes and just the flood of emotion. But then I also remembered in all of those 500 moves, there were some where, I think in one moment, let me back up. There's this gift that's happening for you, Toby, in this moment. Like there's a reason and a season, like this unboxing or this clean slate, like a fresh moment is what I think Chris and I would probably echo that we have felt with you over the last couple of months, which is really cool. But there's been plenty of my moves where I wasn't in a place to receive kind of the growth moment. I just moved through it and was irritated with the boxes, irritated. I'm sure you had all of that over the weekend, but I moved through it as an event and not really this moment that I hear you saying of kind of a reflection and a purging of maybe some of the old. And I think about in our business and what we do, you know, those new chapters in life, there's kind of this moment that's happening for you, and that happens to a lot of people that listen to us and people that we coach. And it's like, do we choose to just power through that moment and not pick up the gratitude that comes with these kind of big chapter changes? But yeah, moved a lot and have definitely caught myself in the basement with an open box with a few tears, and Shelly be like, "What are you crying about?" And I'm like, I just found some pictures from a guy's retreat back in, 92. And I was like, holy shit, I was there that young, I was that wide eyed into life. So anytime you get those memory gifts, I think it's a sign from above trying to tell you something.
Thanks, Stu. That's
Yeah,
good.
man.
Yeah, I love your reflection, Toby. Like you sent us a text today, man. That meant a lot, by the way. Just it was
Totally.
cool to it's just cool to see you in that space to actually take the moment. To Stu's point, like I haven't moved. I've been in Pittsburgh and complaining about it since 2003.
But defends it mightily. But defends Pittsburgh.
So, hey,
with all of
I'm
the
allowed to
vigor.
make fun of it. You're not,
Not
right?
us.
It's one of
We're
those
not.
things. Yeah, I can make fun, but I kind of went through building a power or slide deck for Parker's graduation party, right? And going back to all those memories of him and the kids. And we had 4,000 pictures. So one thing I don't keep a lot of things. Like we don't, like Joy's parents bring over her stuff from childhood because she's an only child. And I'm like, get that shit out of our house. Like, I don't want that. Like, what made you think I want this dollhouse that smells like mothball? Like, what am I going to do with that? But it has sentimental. They do keep, and that's just not who I am. Right. I'd rather just maybe take a couple pictures, but I get the feeling like, and I've had sitting behind my computer putting together that photo montage for Parker's thing. And it's just a lot of emotions, man. And then sending the notes to Park and the family and, hey guys, you remember this? This is what happened. Aiden, you crapped your pants during this time or this thing. There's always a funny story with that. And they're just super special moments to remember. I'm kind of jealous that you get to kind of purge and get to start all over. Cause then we get the text with you and Kath, and walk into the coffee shops, all smiles. And it's like, wow, man, what a new experience for you too, to be able to you're in a new chapter in life. And it's so refreshing to see you going through it, man.
Yeah. And I think that the big thing, thanks, YC, that's awesome. The thing that I've been reflecting on just as of yesterday was, that walk down the hall with the conversation with all of them, the intentional verbiage, if you will, of the impact that they've had on me, and that specifically what that memory had on me. And I think that if there was something that, I would want from our male community is to, stop hoarding shit, but speak very loudly with how you feel about people and what the word gratitude, Stu, it's been my word for a while, but boy, it's the biggest word in my life right now is just to really, really just make sure that I'm taking a moment to be grateful. And not just assume that, the trips or the material stuff or the things that we did are enough, that it's got to also be, how do we feel? And, I would have killed to have my dad say a few more times, I'm proud of you, or that I love you, or that you did that right, or you're making that decision. I always went to my mom for a lot of decisions. And it's not that my dad didn't have really good advice, but he just seemed so busy with other things and other parts of his life. And, to me, I know enough, and you guys know a little bit about my dad, but the survival in him, he grew up with nothing. So part of why he hoarded a lot, I make up the story of, is because he never had anything. He literally grew up poor. So when he had stuff, he just kept it. But there were some things that I remember, though, that, him and I did, and things we acquired. And I just would have liked the words on top of that, rather than just and I get it. That was his love language. But for me, it was kind of more of like, man, I would have just died to have a little more of a deep, meaningful conversation there. So it's not about making dad wrong. It's just making sure that I'm just sitting back thinking, yeah, I probably have a little of that hoarder in me. I probably don't want to let go of it because there's probably a version of like, well, I might need it someday. And Kath is such a good grounding force for me in every aspect of my life. But she's like, honey, if you need it 5 years from now, we can go buy one. And I'm like, wow, what if we do? And she's like, well, it's going to take up space in your closet for 5 years and you won't use it, you dingling. And, so those things more on the material side, but just the words, man, just the words and the meaning behind the words. I guess it's not just words, but the meaning behind the words is what's coming up for me.
Hey, Tobe, would you have talked to your kids if you didn't have those triggers? Like, would you have
Yeah, it's
going
funny you
through this?
say, yeah, Chris. I mean, I like it. He's using the Jedi mind trick on me, but I love. No, I wouldn't have. I probably, I would have not thought to pause today, yesterday, or the day before to run down and say to Oliver, hey, thanks for what you said to me. And in all seriousness, I said you were 8, and he's looking at me cross-eyed, like, what is it you drinking? And I was just kind of like, I just need you to know how much that meant. But the Kath and I had a good night, and I went through a lot of the things that she'd sent me, and I know your significant others, the two of you, and I mean, it's another gratitude moment. I think that I hope you guys have, but I'm certainly having right now of like just how lucky I am to have somebody that's so encouraging, so inspiring, and so gets me when I'm not really at my best, and then kicks my ass when I'm feeling a little bit better than myself, like I'm on my white horse, if you will. But so no, I wouldn't have, Chris. And that's kind of that reminder for me is like gratitude. Like I'm going to keep that at the forefront of my mind, whatever I do to do it, I'm going to do it. And then what that makes me do, I'll see and I'm excited about that. I'll see, it's kind of like the new adventure, finding a new coffee shop. And I'm going to try to find my way to gratitude more often, more proactively.
That's awesome. Well, Tobe, based on, we talk a lot about kind of the life that we experience, and then there's the life that we're kind of building and we're identifying future that we're working towards, right? in this moment, I think all of us, and for those that listen to the show, there's probably been a lot of transparency from me, at least, around vulnerability in life, and always knowing kind of your thoughts around kind of those big moments have always been important, I think, to Chris and I, but also to the audience. In this season where you're at right now, what's it like to be Toby? I know you're kind of moving, and that's an event, and that's always chaotic, but just outside of that, just where's your mind going? What's it like to be you?
Yeah, I appreciate that, Stu. It really truly is like a chapter change for us. It feels a lot. I say us, but me, but Kath and I both we were we were talking to some friends of ours, and most people go from like city living to they make a little bit more money, then they go to a little bit out the sticks a bit, and then they're in retirementville. And it's like we started in retirementville, and now we're headed into the city living. And it's as we were walking the other day, we were like, we wouldn't want it any other way. Like, this is what, in order for us to stay young and to stay, at least young in spirit from that point of view, it's kind of what we, and everybody's got a different path, but like ours is to just kind of probably go a little bit more and be in a younger community, and we'll have to put up with, and remind me, guys, when I say this to you, when I'm up all night because the neighbor's like literally doing a rager. But
you'll
like
be next door.
now,
You'll be over
there. Right now, I'll be heading east.
Yeah.
But right now, there's that feeling of that, and then there's the excitement of, we literally have taken 3 walks since we've been here. We've been in this house 3 days, and 3 different ones. And, we know one we're not going to do again, but the other 2 are like, and as small and a little as that seems, and you guys know this from our coaching, really to pay attention to the senses. And so we're paying attention to where we lived before, there was a lot of traffic noise, and now it's really quiet, even though we're in kind of more of a city. It's just weird how that worked. And we're paying attention to, when we're out in the walk and we got the dogs, just what we can hear, what we can smell, that kind of thing. It's just exciting. And it's like, we haven't really spent a lot of time, Stu, going backwards of like not second guessing the move, but like even just the location. Like, we're so familiar in this older place. We knew where we're going. We knew who we'd see on the walks. We'd say hello, and we have a little bit of a community. This one here is like sight unseen. We're seeing people we've never seen before, and some of them on that one walk I'd rather not see again. But the other two, it's all good. So there's a mix of excitement. I'm ready to kind of get unpacked, to be honest, so that I can really feel like I can kind of really focus in and be a better partner to you two, but also be just a better partner in general to a lot of people, like just to really kind of go there and then also, take inventory of what got me here, like all the inputs and the decisions and the turns and the twists. And, I think that, there's always a big kind of like things happen for a reason. So there's a reason why we got the kids going ASU. To your guys' point, it's going to get quiet in here, but we're also real close to school, and they literally could walk home. So that might be a blessing or a curse, but so there's a lot of excitement as usually goes with change. There's the fear part of it's probably, I don't know if there's a lot of fear right now. There's probably just this nervous anxiety of like, are we going to love it? Is it going to be, because this is the place we probably want to be and be for many, many years. So a lot of that's going on for me right now, Stu. And then also renewal with like, not to say like the business me, but like this version of me I truly do want to up my game and feel like this is another chapter of like, I want to even be better than I was before and continue to get really good. And just study this craft of, what we get to do for a living. And again, feeling, boy, that's come out too. It's not that it was in any of the cards from the kids, but just a gratitude from being able to do what we really, truly, I believe it. The three of us are doing what we truly want to do. And what I truly believe we should be doing. And so that's another part of it too, is like, that's another chapter for me. And you're never too old to have chapters as long as you're willing, obviously, to kind of turn the page. You know what I mean? And that's the deal. It's like, are you willing to have all those people telling me we're making a bad decision financially, just from the interest rate perspective? And it's like, you know what? We'll figure that shit out. And in YC, you've always been that optimist beacon for me of like, we'll get there and we'll figure it out. And not without like, we do have to plan a little bit, but for crying out loud, like surrender and let's just lean into it. So I would just tell you, man, it's hard to put a finger on really how I'm doing, other than just there's a million things going on right now for me that represent like a new lease or a new change or a new chapter or something like that.
I love that, I mean, it's just such a relatable statement, Toby, and I think one that a lot of people navigate at different times in their life. I just was reflecting when you were sitting here. I was just thinking, life's biggest crime, the biggest thief of life and joy is apathy. When we just get numb and we just kind of get caught in the motion, and that's kind of at the core of both things that you talked about, this new chapter and moving to a new house and kind of a clean slate, closer to the school, walking distance, better quality of life. But also this other side of it of like, I'm ready for this new, at what age? I don't even know how old you are. You're fucking 35 or something. You look like you're 21, but at, let's say, over 50, that there's still this energy to kind of reinvent and for it to be okay, and not to feel like you're reinventing because of something negative. You're actually reinventing proactively. And it's just a cool example. And I appreciate you sharing that. Sorry, Chris, I didn't mean to cut you off, but.
Well, he's closer to 60, but 50 is.
Well, I didn't want to say that.
50
the listeners don't look at him. They just hear his sultry voice. They don't see his crinkled face.
It's just cool. Like, a lot of what I've learned in this space, and I haven't been doing this as long as you have, but even in leadership, right? It's more so in this space than as I was as a leader, because I think I got my own way as a leader, and I didn't learn enough as a leader. And in this space, I'm coaching people, and while I'm doing it, learning so much about me, and I'm applying so much of the coaching that I coach to other people to my life. And I just see you doing that too. I mean, even the unpacking the boxes, man. Like, how many times do we unpack, people? and what they have going on in their life. And, you know, you kind of said, hey, I want to just get it done. And you would pause me in that moment and be like, hey, could we maybe create a space and some sort of a moment in unpacking those boxes as a connection point to the unpacking that you're doing in life right now, right? And the impact that that could have on you. So just don't rush through it, man. It's my advice, right? Like, treat every box like, you know, it's its own box and own special potential, right? And then again, seeing you unpack that and redefine. I was speaking to your point about just apathy, Stu. Like I got to go to Philly this weekend, and my niece was having her graduation party. And man, you and Toby, you've helped me with, you know, a lot of my just family stuff for years and years and years. And I've just kind of surrendered to it. I get anxiety going to Philly. You know, I don't know why. I just do. My child, you know, going back there, and I've always just said, hey, I just isn't for me. I don't like going back, blah, 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 blah. And I really haven't done the work on me to figure out why, you know? And I had the same moment, man, same experience. I just didn't like it. And then I was driving home and I was mad at myself for like not, you know, being in the moment, enjoying the moment. So I start, and Joy's like, why are you so stressed out? Like, it's just let it be what it is. And saying all the things I'd probably say. And I'm like, you don't understand, you know, my this and that and the other thing. And I was saying that because I didn't understand, you know, what was going on with me. And I started to do some work even this morning and just like really starting to understand. And what it was is that, you know, a piece of it is that apathy that I see in my parents. And my mom just turned 75, and I'm just like, hey, like, what's the next 25 years look like for you? And, you know, she quickly dismissed me and said, oh, Christopher, the next 25, every day is a gift. I treat every day as a gift. And I'm like, if that's not a bunch of bullshit, I don't know what it, you know, like that is such a bunch of bullshit. So that triggered. So I got back last night in the spirit of building the session. You know, I built my parents, and Stu, you did this for your pops, I think, right? To walk him through some stuff. I built a session for my parents to go through who they want to be this next chapter of their life, whether that's a year or 10 years or 25 years. And things like who you want to be as parents, who you want to be as grandparents, who you want to be as partners, who you want to, you know, different roles they play, but then also in life, health-wise, spiritually, all the things. It's got all these questions. And I called my mom today, and we actually had probably one of the best conversations we've had in years just doing this. And I'm telling this story for a reason, but it was amazing to have that breakthrough, and to see her. And hopefully she goes through the session. I'll help her if she doesn't, but hopefully she goes through the session, because it just gives a little bit of that, like, she's going to start hopefully taking a little bit more control of her life. Yeah. And bringing this back to you, bud, the fact that you moved, and no matter what people said, you know, and there's a lot to do for the kiddos, right? And just being close for them and things like that. And for you and Kath, but you and Kath decided to do this for you. And it's just nice to see you taking control of your life, because you could have stayed in that house. You could have been super comfortable. You could have just kind of been on that, whatever, right? Nobody would have blamed you, but you realized like that wasn't the right path for you, man. You know, and I love your little jab at all the people that give you feedback, because it's like, at the end of the day, fuck them. They don't, that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And too many of us as leaders listen to all that talk, and that determines our path. And I just love that you said, you know what, fuck it. This is my path going here. And now I'm taking walks, and now we're getting texts of you and Kath taking walks, smiling. And it's like, dude, this is a new Toby. I just can't wait to continue to see this new version of Toby, man. And whatever I can do to help you keep on the path you're on, man, I'm all in. So you feeling that at all?
I am, buddy. It is so good. Like as you say that, like, when's the last time I sent you two guys texts of me walking out with
totally.
Like, I mean,
Never.
It just doesn't happen much. You know, I think the big thing as you're talking, Chris and Stu, and just kind of allowing my space for a check-in here, you know, what I want to encourage people on this that's listening to us is, I think I've told you two guys this through some of our coaching interaction, but those butterfly moments. Like, I just think that if we can keep encouraging people to lean into those moments of trepidation, those butterflies in your tummy is kind of the metaphor that I'm just using, but just to lean into that. Like we got a lot of that. Sometimes there's too many in there and you feel sick because you got too many butterflies going on. But the truth is, and I do believe it, I just, I'm drinking my own Kool-Aid right now, is just encouraging people to lean into those, whether it's the phone call you need to make that you just haven't made yet, whether it's the walking down the hallway to your kid that, you believe is going to be under your roof for the next 50 years. And truth be told, you only probably have 4 or 5 summers left. Whether it's that significant other that you say you do this all for, but you just haven't done that with them, or with ourselves, like how we're treating ourselves and how we remind ourselves of kind of what we're grateful for about us as humans, as men on this path, as people, as I know you two to be great friends, and I aspire to do the same, like the loyalty and the friendship, and like be men of character, and not when people are looking, but when no one's looking, but to lean in with some butterfly moments to just kind of either affirm that with ourselves or people around us. That's really what the gift I've got from unpacking this with you guys today is just, this is a big butterfly for me. And, and there's several other butterflies I got flying around, and I just got to keep leaning into these moments of the anxiety, as long as doesn't take me over and it doesn't consume me, is not a bad thing. That it keeps you on your toes and keeps you a little bit there. And anxiety and excitement seem to kind of live in the same orbit sometimes, and it's like, the anxiety better not take excitement for a ride, and excitement better not be without some level of, oh my God, you might fall off the cliff there. But so, I got to kind of, but I like the idea that you guys have given me with just kind of pairing those two together with the butterflies in the middle, and making sure that we just choose to the apathy thing. And I think Stu and Chris, that's really what got me here is, I don't want to go through life just kind of wash, rinse, repeat. I don't want to go through life without a lot of feelings about the people that I say I care about, or that the people I spend my time with. And I certainly don't want to go through a lot of apathy with what I do for a living, because we spend so much time doing that. So it's just a good kind of epiphany you guys gave me through this dialogue, which I really, again, I'm grateful for, because it's, I wasn't quite sure exactly how my check-in would go or exactly what I would touch on. We knew for sure I would not stop talking. That's true. But, I've kind of had a full circle just on this particular call with those butterflies.
Yeah, just to offer a bit of support, especially when it comes to the kids and just the move, but because I've moved 500 times, I've had to break my kids' hearts a few times. They're resilient. They come back around. There's new memories to be made. It's fun to go back and talk about the old house and talk about it. Anchors a period of time of significance. And, I'm sure there's a fun family ritual that you can create to honor that place, but to also usher in this new chapter for them too. I think, that's the other thing is I think a lot of times as you guys talk, that butterfly moment is probably another thing that many people power through and don't use that as kind of the alarm clock. In True Path, we talk a lot about, and you've heard it on the podcast multiple times, but this concept of the proactive investment in self before the big event, before the lightning strike, before the crash. And some of this dialogue that we're having today about these major marker events in life and these butterflies, those are all signs. Those are all just moments of trying to get our attention, to be present, to be in the moment, to be where our feet are, and to be able to enjoy that. I haven't always been the best at this. These anxiety moments would creep up, or the butterflies, and I would assume that it was a personal judgment of accomplishment more so than a moment of reflection of the importance of that moment. And so I just, the maturity, it's just, there's great modeling, Toby, in the concept of just letting go and surrendering a little bit, but understanding the power of being aware enough to know when something big is happening. And it's not the move. The move is just, I think the activity. But it is about, I think, I see a friend that's taken some real control of life and fulfillment, and this was a major part of it. And to Chris's point, how many times do we get judged or mocked or to do things that are important to us, but yet are judged by others because they don't understand them. But more importantly, they judge because they haven't figured out what that thing is for them yet, And if you're out there, if you're one of those fucking judgers, one of those people that just needle your friends that are taking risk and trying shit, you're the loser in the group. Like, you're the one that no one wants to hang out with. Stop. Get on board and help encourage your friends do better for themselves. I fucking hate that.
Dude. He went out.
Yeah, it makes me mad. Those little chirpers. It's like, shut up. Why don't you do something with your fucking life? Then come chirping. Anyway, just a little color on the True Path.
Let's go, dude. Let's go.
I love it.
Hey man, and in the spirit of that, I love that. Dude, that's hilarious. If you if you were coaching me right now, you'd ask me like, "Hey, what's your next butterfly moment?" Right? Yeah. And there's that. Who said it's like, I think Jesse Itzler, Ikigai. I think it's called Ikigai. Ikigai. Yeah, no, it's actually a Japanese word that it speaks to deeper meaning or purpose. And the way he's interpreted it is he puts that concept into life by every month he has something that will create, like he does something intentionally every month that'll just give him purpose, whether it's running a long race or doing something with the kids or something. And he's got this big counter, and so in the spirit of self-development and he intentionally creates these butterfly moments for him that give him deeper purpose in life. So, what would your next one be, Tobe? You have that figured out yet, or?
Well, it's interesting because as you said that, you're putting me on the spot, which is good. I would ask that you guys put a pin on that and don't let too many weeks go by without asking that again. Right now, I got to organize myself and get myself to a good foundation. So I feel like I'm in the eye of the butterflies moment right now. But you're right, though, Chris, and it's a great point you're making of like, so what's next thereafter, rather than, because how many times I've coached people recently are like, well, I just want to get through all of this change. And then, let me live with the change so I can feel like I can get really good with the change. And I'm like, well, yeah, but what's the new target? And they're like, well, dude, I'm still just trying to do this one. And it's like, I think it's a really good point to make, is that we just got to keep, not from the point of view of never being fulfilled, because I do worry about that too. Sometimes I work with people that just change all the time and they're putting so many butterflies going on. That's their normal. And I think there's a piece of it's like, hey man, you also got to just like settle in and be okay with nothing for a little while. For me though, I do know that I'm going to need another butterfly. I'm going to need to do something like that. And so I appreciate that question. I wrote it down and I'm going to make a note of it, of like, and when will I know? I think you two will probably pick it up better than me, but like, I'll be thinking and feeling within myself of like, hey, if I'm not feeling any butterflies, I want you guys as my partners to just remind me of like, hey, we got to lean into something. Either it's stretching more with you guys and just giving more, or whether it's the family stuff, or whether it's whatever it is, learning and continuing to learn. Cause I know that's my big value. So it's like, it's probably around learning something, learning with you guys as we're doing, which I think is probably more than enough, but maybe there's something there too of doing that. But Chris, I love it. I think it's a really good call out to not just get into the butterfly moments, but also to think about how you can find another one.
Yeah. I was coaching. This is one of my best coaching moments ever. I'm being sarcastic for anybody that wants to hear this, but I was coaching somebody. And we were just talking about life, and then one of the guys I was coaching, pretty high level executive. I think it was 20 years or 25 years with his wife. And I'm like, well, what are you doing? For your anniversary? And he's like, well, I'm trying to find. I don't know who would take care of the kids. I don't know this. I don't know. I'm like, oh man, really? And I go, hey, I learned this on Instagram. I was scrolling through Instagram, and it was Fibby. And he's like, what's Fibby? I go, fuck it, book it. Figure it out later. That was my coaching advice to him. Fuck it, book it. So I texted. So a week later, I text him. I go, hey, did you figure out your trip yet? And I go, hey, if all else fails, this is probably overstepping coaching bounds too. Like, I'll watch your kids. I don't give a shit. Like, you got to go on this trip. Like, go on this trip, FIBI, fucking book it. And we had a laugh back and forth, but
Remember,
I
we
love
got
the
this weird
concept.
letter in the mail from a law firm that said,
Yeah,
cease and
exactly.
desist.
Exactly. We don't want you coaching our executives
Yeah,
anymore. But the
fuck it,
concept
book
is
it.
simple, right? And it was these kids on, these kids that live this life now that like probably don't deserve to have that mantra because they should probably go do something with their life. But the concept for our age, so many of us make excuses why we can't do something and why we shouldn't do something. We got life going on. It's like, man, at the end of this thing, right? I mean, we all got the same ticket that's going to get punched. At the end of it, we're going to look back and be like, man, why didn't we just book it? Like, why do we make such a big deal? Like, let's go book these experiences and create these butterfly moments in our life, whether it's moving and changing our trajectory here, or whether it's going on a trip, or whether it's just creating a moment at dinner one day, just telling your kids how much you love them or how much your wife or your husband you love it. It's just we let these moments pass, man. It's just been really cool to see you capturing this one and to be a part of it in some small way with you. It's pretty cool to see, man.
Yeah. Well, thanks for letting me check in with it today, guys. And I really appreciate the questions, and I also appreciate the aha that I had from it. So it's been a good one for me. I appreciate you letting me, like to you said, Chris, unpack not just boxes, but a little of me today, which is great.
Yeah, good timing, I think. And again, man, going back to what we do as coaches, this is just space. Like, so many of the people, we get on the phone with, and they're going through so much in life, at work, and home, whatever, and they got a lot of responsibility, and everything just starts to blend in with one another, and just going from one thing to the other, to the other, to the other. I was talking to our friend Neil Stu today, and we talked about just our life as executives and how you're rolling from one meeting to the other to the other. And then by the time you get home, you're exhausted and you don't really have any energy left. So you go pour yourself a glass of bourbon because you think that, that settles you down. That's the story you told yourself. That settles you down. And then you're able to maybe engage with your family, if that's what you call it. And it's like we tell ourselves these stories, but these check-in moments that we did with Toby and we did with Stu last time, it's just about creating space. Just creating space and just say, hey, well, here's where I am right now. Because we don't know where you are really. Then how are we going to get to where you want to go? And how are we going to understand with some of the maybe belief systems or whatever things we're telling that are getting in the way, the things that are getting in the way. And that's what we do. We just create space for executives or friends, like this case, just to check in. And it's a powerful thing. So whether it's, at work or at home, whoever's listening, maybe ask you, when was the last time I really had a check-in with myself or with my significant other and gave them the space to really, and just share that moment with each other. So I don't know. You guys have anything on that before we close up?
No, Chris, I think it's super powerful. I think when I heard that word space, when I was an executive, I think maybe one step, maybe just another bit of direction in that moment, not only create the space, but establish some ground rules for how we use that space. For me, someone that had a very hyper, critical eye, internal judgment, I would create space, but without someone walking with me in that space, it actually did more harm than good. And so, in the spirit of coaching, in the spirit of therapy, in the spirit of friendship, in the spirit of spouse, and like just that team that we all need to have around us to kind of get through this life with fulfillment. Just I would encourage all of you to definitely take Chris's advice and create that space, but establish some ground rules for what that time is made for. It's not made for self-deprecation. It's not made for you to rethink all of the things you should have done, could have done, but didn't do. It's about space, about how to re-energize that battery, recharge that battery so that we can handle the challenges coming ahead. But I think for someone that dealt with mental health and really struggled with that internal, time by myself was a dark period. But that time by myself with a trusted advisor, with a partner to help walk with me, I was able to see myself in a way, in a much healthier lens than I ever did. So for those of you that are scared of that space, just invite somebody to come with you. I'm telling you, it's a lot less scary when you walk with somebody.
Love it. Yeah, I'm good. Well said, Stu. Could do any better than that, buddy.
Well, good stuff, Tobe. Thanks, man. I'm glad you got some
Thanks,
really
Toby.
fun things going on with you. Thanks for the check-in. As we wind up today, hey, just remember the truth is your path doesn't always mean leaving everything behind. Sometimes it means waking up to the life you're already living, doing the work to realign, to lead with more clarity, to show up with more intention, and to remember why it mattered in the first place. The path isn't about changing something new or chasing something new. It's about coming back to what's true. Thanks for being with us today. And if the conversation helped you see something more clearly, share it, reflect on it, sit with it, and whatever your next step looks like, walk it with purpose. We'll see you next time on The Path.
Don't be a chirper.
Leadership doesn't have to cost you your health, your relationships, or your sense of purpose. True Path exists to help you create space for the real work, the kind that helps you lead with presence in both business and in life. When you start showing up fully, everything starts to shift. That's what we're here for. If this conversation gave you pause or sparked a deeper question about how you're leading, don't ignore that. Reach out. This is the work we do, and we'd be honored to support your journey.